Hello guys, FX Bright here, the trade guru. So look, on this video, I want to teach you guys how to analyze the market using the top-down analysis. Like I always tell you, this is going to be your game changer. Now, if you're a beginner in trading, you need to understand this. Now, this is about understanding the market from the highest time frame all the way down to the time frame of your interest, where you're going to be taking your trades. If you know how to do this thing, you will be very, very profitable in trading. Not just in synthetic indices, in every single asset you decide to trade. When you get to any market at all, the first thing you want to understand is the bias. You want to have a bias for the market. When I say bias, I mean the market ought to tell you what you are to be searching for. If I open any trade, I want the trade, the market movement to tell me my bias. In other words, should I be buying or should I be selling? It's about strategy. It's not about doing anything you see. It's about, if the market is selling, then I will organize a strategy for sell. If the market is buying, then I will organize a strategy for buy. So here's what I'm talking about. Everything will become clear once you understand the top-down analysis. So this is Crash 500. The first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the weekly time frame. So now, this is the weekly time frame of Crash 500. So you can obviously see that it has been on a serious downtrend. But this is where we are currently on this side of the market. So I want us to do something real quick. The first thing we're going to do at this point is that we're going to map out our support and resistance zones just to get a full scope of the market. Remember, we're not trading here, but this is going to help us get a full scope of the market. So I'm going to map out my support and resistance zone. So it's very easy to know your support and resistance zone as a trader. Just look at the market and see a certain zone where price has been bouncing for a while. So you can see how price bounce, and did some drama around this zone. That is why I drew that line there, to map out that support zone, right? So that is not the only place. I'm still going to map out other support and resistance zone. So you can obviously see the market bounced here, and the market also got a resistance from this zone. So this side is a support and a resistance zone. Now remember, this is my weekly time frame, and I'm going to do this until I'm able to map out all the support and resistance zones I'm able to detect. So I'm going to map this one out, so you can see on this place how price was able to bounce here, came here, and I had a reaction, also broke, and is bouncing off this point. So just merely looking at this point, you can see that the market, as we established earlier, is in a downtrend. But now what is more important is that it is bouncing off a certain resistance. Now our bias for the market, obviously, like I told you, is a sell bias now, because what you can see the market doing is gaining momentum by breaking support zones. So you can see the market bounced here. This place held it for a while until it broke it. So the market is gaining momentum towards the sell direction. Then the market came here, did some drama, broke it. Beautiful. So what do we do right now? Remember, I told you, it's not just to come now and place a sell, it's to organize a strategy to sell. So I'm going to go to the daily time frame to see what is going on there. So look at this now. This is where the market is right now. So in this daily time frame, it's going to establish also for me some other support and resistance zones that I may not have captured in the weekly time frame. So I'm going to put that support and resistance zone that I can find. So remember, support and resistance is not a point, it's a zone. It can be wide, it can be small, depending on where it is happening. For instance, I just need to capture the zones like you can see this side, I need this market to touch here, and I need this zone also to be captured. Assuming this one was a little bit towards the downside, then this line will be fatter because it's a zone, it's not a line, it's not a point. That's why I can't use lines. So beautiful. Remember, I told you the most important thing right here is to establish a strategy for sell. Now, remember, because I can see that the market is in a downtrend, my bias for crash 500 is to sell crash 500. But now, the next step is to establish a strategy for sell. Beautiful. So somebody can come here and start buying crash 500 because he's buying. So the person says he wants to buy to this point or buy to this point. That is not the best way to approach your trading. You must establish a bias and stick with the bias until the day the market changes that bias. So you have to stick with the bias. So for instance, if our bias for the market is sell, even though the market starts buying, we are not going to buy. Even if the market gives all the entries for buy here, we are not going to buy because our bias is to sell. Until any day the market disappoints us in that our bias to sell and start buying and breaks that our bias, that is the day we will change it. But no matter the amount of buys that happen around this side, we will not buy because our bias has been established for sell. So this is how you trade. This is how you become profitable. If you're a newbie trader, this is how you think. You don't jump into the market and buy or sell because you feel or you believe a signal for buy has happened. So that is why most new traders do not become profitable early on in their trading. So now, remember, like I said, we are trying to establish a bias for sell. So this place also is not a very strong support because it only happened once, but we will still draw it nonetheless. So you can see that price also bounced off this point, but the reason why I said it's not strong because he's the only one existing on this plane. Even the reaction here wasn't so strong, so you can see this side wasn't so strong. But of course, so there's a possibility for the market to break this, right? So what do I mean? Now that we've been able to establish all these points, what we need the market to do is that we need the market. Follow me now closely. You need the market to move into, to buy into any of these zones, either this one, but obviously it's going to break past this one. It could also bounce from this one, but that will depend on a lot of things. So now we need the market to break into these ones, or maybe even this one, right? Before we can be able to look for these sells, right? So remember, establishing bias is key. So now we are going to go, remember this is the daily time frame, so we're going to go a little bit down on the time frames. So we'll go to the 4 hours time frame. Good. So look at this now. You can see something is happening. The market now is buying into this our first resistance zone. Remember, like I told you, it's probably not the strongest resistance zone. It doesn't mean it will not hold. It will only depend on something else, and I'm going to show you what that is. Now the market is buying all the way to this our first resistance. It's possible it will break it to head to this one, but doesn't mean we will not consider this, because remember, it's a strategy for sell. All right, so this is the market. This is where the market is right now. So I'm expecting it to keep buying and get here. When it gets here, this is the time we are going to now start thinking of how to get a sell signal. We are going to start thinking around the zone if we can find a sell signal. So beautiful. Now look at this. Just the same way the market is breaking, the market is going up, just the same way the market is coming down and breaking support, as the market is going up in this small time it wants to retrace, it will also be breaking resistance. So if you can look to the left of this particular place where the market, now remember this is the 4 hours time frame. This is how you analyze all the way to the 4 hours time frame, because this is the time frame of your interest. This is the time frame where your analysis have to become spot on, because your next time frame, which is the 1 hour time frame, is the place where you'll be taking those entries. Okay, so if you look at this point, you will see the price. You will see that in this 4 hours time frame, this zone I just drew here is a support and a resistance zone. So price came here and bounced, broke, bounced, came here and bounced, and now price is trying to react to this point. This is where price is right now. If price successfully able to break through this resistance and come to this point, remember, this is our zone of interest. What we will now be interested in from the price is for the price to, remember, this is at this time is where we are now going to be thinking about selling, but we will not sell yet. So as the price has entered the zone, the price will start coming down to this point. It is if the price successfully breaks this support downwards. This support is supposed to have pushed. If price had intention to keep going up, what price will do is that price will come here, hit here, come here and bounce again, and this one will make it break and it will start. But supposing price is able to hit here, come here, maybe this one will resist it small, it will come back up here and break. That's where you see stuff like double top, right? So it will hit it, come back to bounce on this one, go back to touch this one, and come back to break it. If price successfully breaks this side, right? So I'm thinking of something that looks like this. So price will go up, right? So price comes down again. Price goes back up. Price comes back down. Now, if price comes back down and breaks this side, this mini support and resistance area here, when price breaks it down, it is only at this point you will now take your sell, because remember, it is a sell trade. If price for whatever reason continues to buy, let's say it didn't let's say price didn't break through this side, maybe it just bounced off here and continues to buy up, you are not going to be in this buy because it's a buy. Remember, your bias is very, very important in any market. Your bias is a sell bucket, is a sell bias. You're going to wait for price to get to the next resistance zone. When price get to the next resistance zone, then you will wait for price again to perform this act. It will come down, it will find for itself another resistance, another support, probably go up and begin to come down and break again. The moment price is able to break that support zone that it would have established while going up, then at that point is where you begin to take another sell, right? At this point, when price is able to break this, you will start taking another sell all the way down. So I want you to understand something from this lesson I'm giving you. New traders, it's about your bias. It's about your bias. It's about what you think the market is doing. So you must be able to establish the trend of a market. Once you get to the market, go to the highest time frame and see what the highest time frame is doing. If the highest time frame, which is the weekly time frame, I don't like trading the monthlies because monthlies doesn't have enough information. So you just take the highest as the weekly. If the highest time frame, being the weekly time frame, is a sell, is going down, establish your bias as a sell bias. Never buy that market. Listen to me. Never buy against the bias. Never go against the bias. If the bias is a sell bias, please just be selling that market. If you check the weekly time frames and the weekly is buying, stick to buying. So by sticking to buying, all your established strategies will be strategies for buys. You'll be waiting for price at different locations for buys because the bias, being the weekly bias, is a buy. I hope this lesson was very helpful. Now, if you want mentorship, if you want me to teach you exactly how I trade, my very, very step-by-step procedures, you can always DM me and for mentorship, and you will get that. My phone number is on the WhatsApp, on the description of this channel is for WhatsApp. Just WhatsApp me and I'll get back to you. So I hope this lesson was helpful. I will see you guys in my next video.